My 24F friend 24F told me she cheated with a married man 37M. So I've been friends with Abigail 24F since we were kids. She recently got back from an international vacation with a big group, which included a married couple, James 37M, and his wife. Her boyfriend, Wyatt 25M, didn't go, and neither did I. Abigail and I were catching up today, chatting about her vacation, when she drops this bombshell on me. Apparently, Abigail and James got drunk one night. They didn't have intercourse, but she gave him oral. His wife was feeling sick, so she was in another room. Neither the wife nor Wyatt know about any of this, and neither couple is in an open relationship. Abigail and James have agreed to keep this a secret, although obviously she told me. They're still in touch, but just platonically. In Abigail's view, this isn't that big of a deal and she doesn't feel guilty, because there's no emotional connection and it was a one-time, drunken vacation thing. I asked her, if it's not a big deal, why doesn't she just tell Wyatt what happened? I'm kind of disturbed by all this. I have known Abigail to cheat on a few boyfriends in the past, but was always near the end of those relationships, when she was already preparing to dump them. Edit to clarify, I didn't find out about that cheating until months or years after she'd already dumped those boyfriends. She's pretty serious about Wyatt and has talked about getting married and having kids with him. They've been dating almost 2 years and live together. Plus, while personally Wyatt isn't my cup of tea, I think he's kind of annoying. He's been pretty good to Abigail, has a steady high-paying job, and is actually our age. Why the hell did she cheat on him with this older married dude? I don't know James or his wife, but now I'm not sure if I should just keep quiet or say something to Wyatt. I'm the only one Abigail's told, so she's definitely going to know he found out from me, and probably that'll ruin our friendship. I don't like Wyatt that much. He's not mean or abusive, just a bit of a know-it-all. And also, I don't really want to be involved in any drama. But if she's actually going to marry this guy, I feel like I have some moral obligation to let him know the truth. What should I adopt it? So last time, I got comments telling me to confront Wyatt, as well as a few people telling me to mind my own business and stay out of it. I decided to confront Abigail one last time, saying that she needs to own up to her behavior and confess to Wyatt. Otherwise, I was going to tell him. But before we actually met up to have that conversation, Wyatt found out anyway. It sounds like James was cheating on his wife with at least one other woman, and that woman got fed up and texted the wife with photographic proof of the affair. The wife freaked out on James and forced him to let her go through his phone. So then the wife found out about Abigail too, and all hell broke loose. Wyatt heard from the wife. Apparently Wyatt and James are family friends, which I didn't know. He drove over to confront James face to face. They got into a physical altercation and Wyatt ended up at the police station. Abigail called me crying, asking for a ride to the station since Wyatt had taken their car to James's house. At this point, I had no idea what was going on, so I agreed and we drove down there, which is when I found out the entire story. Honestly, I was so tired of all that I just dropped Abigail off and left. Now Wyatt has a court hearing in a few weeks. James and his wife are probably getting a divorce. Not sure if Abigail and Wyatt are staying together, but I'm trying to not get involved. I do feel bad for her, and we've been friends for over 15 years, but part of me also thinks this is her own fault. Story 2.my 16/M grandmother 59/F is being manipulated by my mother 34/F so she can contact me. It's been a very hard few months for me. I have an abusive brother that used to beat me up almost every day, and my mom would usually stand there and let him do that. When she decides he needs to stop, she says I provoke him into hurting me. So I walk past him, and that's the reason for him battering me. In July 2021, I was getting settled into a housekeeping job when I was 15, when my brother decided to attack me for no reason. It started off as him coming into my room and taking my belongings like my phone or laptop and hide them away in his room. He is younger than me but is much bigger and stronger. I shout at my mom. As usual, she takes around 5 minutes to acknowledge what's going on and tells him to give my stuff back. He doesn't, so I go downstairs and demand my mom do something. My brother goes into my bedroom, taking more stuff. I call him a name, go upstairs and try to pull him out my room. He pushes me onto my bed. I kick him away, but he jumps on top of me and tries to suffocate me by putting a pillow on top of my head whilst I face down. He's punching me in the chest. kicking me in the groin, and I'm struggling to breathe. My mom eventually comes in, shouts at him to stop, but no luck. So I try to kick him away, but he won't move. My mom pulls him off of me, and I make a dash downstairs. My brother breaks free and chases me down. I run out the house, barefoot, and speed down the street. My brother catches up to me and pushes me into a hedge. He bashes my head against the lamppost, and I'm feeling really lightheaded. Some neighbors come out and just watch. I'm in tears and really angry because nobody is helping me. A few minutes later, he lets go of me and runs back into the house. I go back in too, grab my phone, and call the police. My mom is screaming at me not to, saying it's my problem that I got battered. So the police arrive and they want to question me about what happened, of course. I tell them, and my mother is trying to chip in with statements like, "OOP has been winding him up all day. I don't know how I can stop him," making it out that it's my fault. I was on my day off from work, and all I wanted was some peace and quiet, but no. When the police leave, I say to my mom, "Don't even bother shouting at me. What I did was right, and you can't say otherwise." She says, "Are you trying to take my child away? I'm sick and tired of you instigating situations. Pack a bag, you're moving out." My heart dropped. I had nowhere to go. I was still 15 at the time, 16 in a week, but even still, I wasn't ready to move out. I phoned my nana, and she let me stay with her, rent-free. Here's where things change. After 2 nights of taking all my belongings to my nana, my mom calls her and is asking every question under the sun like, "Are you charging rent? Is he paying for your bills? Is he buying shopping?" When she said no, my mom was raging. "He needs to learn to pay for bills. He can't be living at your house for free." I knew that already and gave her PS50 for the month and left it at that. A few days later, my nana comes into my room. "I've just been off the phone to your mom, and she wants you to pay for your own shopping and chip in with the bills." I asked, "Is PS50 not enough?" And she said, "Well, that's what your mother said." I asked why she's getting involved with this. She kicked me out, and she replies with, "Well, I'm not getting involved." After several weeks of living at my nana's, I had to resign from my housekeeping job as I couldn't travel the 30 miles to the hotel on Sundays. I received my final paycheck the next day, and it got paid into my nana's account. I gave my nana PS60 as she had some bills to pay like water and gas, and I didn't mind. But another call to my mother later, and my nana comes in saying your mother wants PS100 for the month, because PS50 isn't enough apparently. And I said, "It's not her problem, it's your house." And she turns around and says, "Well, you didn't get paid a lot, so I will be taking PS50 for last month's rent and another PS50 for this month." I was gobsmacked. She couldn't just take money away from me like that. PS100 down the drain. So I start actively job searching, applying for jobs anywhere in Scotland and as far down as Manchester. Out of the 20 free applications I put in, 14 of them rejected me as I didn't have the right skills. I have national 5-grade qualifications, and the other 9 employers didn't reply to me at all. At the end of August, my nana told me I have to go back to my mom's. I said no, gave her the PS100 for the month of August, and phoned the homeless department. I went into emergency accommodation for the night and the next day, moved to a new town where I'd spend the next 7 weeks. It was a secure accommodation unit, where it's a normal flat/apartment, but there are workers from housing partnerships in the council. I applied for universal credit, went to the job center, and tried to get my life back on track. When I got all my stuff out of my nana's house, I blocked my mom's number immediately. I wanted nothing to do with her, and I'll explain why soon. I got an offer of a flat near Manchester, as I wanted to be as far away from my mom and family as I could. I figured it would be a good place as there were good transport connections and plenty of jobs. What the job center wanted me to do was begin a job experience thing where I worked for 6 months to gain experience for later jobs. It was in Scotland, but I was given a transport pass so I could travel by train to work there. It's not too bad, having to wake up at 4 a.m. and start work at 9 a.m. and be back home by 8:30 p.m. I'm happy I have a job and my life is getting back on track, but there's some things that I'm still angry about. My mother. I don't talk to her for many reasons. She is a manipulative, lying cow. I have 4 siblings. 3 of them are 5-6 years younger than me and my abusive brother. Sometimes I play with them, and they like to be rough for some reason. When that happens, they start crying and I'm made out that I'm a child abuser. Whenever I'm not about, or so she thinks, she makes out I'm not a good role model by saying to them, "If you keep doing that, you'll end up like OP." But at the same time, she makes out I'm not there for them and she expects me to be more nice to them. I am or was. As mentioned earlier, she likes to lie, so she's always the victim in situations, even when she's not involved. When the police arrived, she's saying I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything. OP is a danger to my kids. We're all biologically related, so I'm not sure what she means. Another thing is her obsession with the topic of autism. I have 2 siblings that have it, abusive brother and younger sister, and she doesn't stop going on about it. Whenever her friends are around, autism. Whenever she's on the phone, autism. And she always pry me to get a test to see if I have it, and I'm like, no, I obviously don't have it. Then she'll turn around and say, well, I know you've got Asperger's. And I've just stood there, stunned that she thinks that. And finally, the little white lies she puts in conversations. For example, I'm asking her something, and she says, well, you did such and tries to make out I'm the liar, pretending that didn't happen, or something like that. As I've said before, she's manipulating my Nana into me getting in contact with my mom by saying in texts, you need to stop holding grudges, son. Your mother's done nothing wrong, and you just know for a fact my mom told her to say that.